This is Rama Roy Das. We're here with Nikunjbihari Prabhu. We're beginning the fourth day of Ram Katha. It's very, very auspicious. Lord Ramachandra is one of the primary incarnations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Prabhupada writes in the fifth canto that the ultimate goal of life can be achieved by worshiping the Sadbhuj form of the Lord, that is Lord Krishna playing the flute, Lord Ramachandra with bow and arrows, and Lord Chaitanya with water pot and Sannyas Danda. So we'll have a very joyous festival coming this Sunday. Nikunjbihari Prabhu will give the Sunday feast class also, which will be the culmination of the 9-day Katha. So we wish everyone out there a very, very happy hearing of Ram Leela. All auspiciousness can be granted simply by hearing and reciting the glories of the Supreme Lord. And don't forget to always chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Thank you very much. Hari Bol.
Very kind of you, Rama Prabhu. Is one of the senior disciples of Srila Prabhupada. And if you go to Union Square, you will find hundreds of people, surrounding him. And every single day he's doing Hari Ram there. So it's not easy. Being under the roof is a different story. And when there is a cold out, heat out, and it's raining, but these people, they never stop. The Sankirtan movement keeps going as per the instruction of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So thank you very much. And now we will begin the fourth day, like he announced already. Today's costumes, you see beautiful deities and wonderful garlands and decorations. It's just unbelievable. Very beautiful, Radha Govinda. So let us again start praying to Srila Prabhupada and the entire Guru Parampara. Nityananda Paramasukadam Kevalam Gnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gaganasadrisham Tvatvamasyadilaksham Ekanityam Bimalamachalam Sarvadi Sakshibhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami Namah Paramaguruve Nadabindu Kalatmane Niranjana Padam Yati Nityam Yatra Parayanam Hiranyagarbho yogasya vaktananya puratanam Guru sakshat param tattva tasmai shri guruve namah Guru pita guru mata Guru devo na samshaya Karmana manasa vacha Tatsmat sarve prasevyate Guru prasada sarvam Labhyate shubhamatmana Tasmat sevye guru nityam Anyathana shubham bhavetam Pradakshinotaram krutva spastva savyena panina astangena namaskrutyad gurupada saroruham Shri Guru Charanarvinda Brahmagnana utpadyate Panchakleshu vinashaya Paramanandam sulabhyate. So everyone, those who are coming here, we usually ask them to remove their shoes And any other temple you go, that is a kind of instruction. Nobody will have to tell you to remove the shoes. But if you come to our temple, if you see, Srila Prabhupada is there, and his shoes are also there. His paduka, the sandals that he is wearing. We worship. Everything, including his glasses and his hat and dhoti and t-shirt or shirt. Everything we have put in that museum, and it is all worshipable items. So this is the difference between ordinary soul and spiritual master. We worship his sandals. And the reason it says, for some people it could be a waste of time, that why we have to go through this formality over and over again. This is the fourth day already. But this is kind of a password. A lot of systems nowadays in digital system, you put a password, unless you put the password, it's not going to activate it. So the thing is that the same thing we do here before we read scriptures, unless we have the sanction from Jagat Guru, permission from him, we should not be even touching the scriptures. So today we are going to pray to the sandals of Srila Prabhupada. The words are, my obeisances to holy sandals of my Guru Srila Prabhupada, which serve as a boat to cross this endless ocean of material nations, which endow me with devotion to Guru, and which grace with the valuable dominion of renunciation, which serve as the downpour of water to put out the fire of misfortune, removing groups of distresses, holy sandals, adoring which even the mutes turn out to be great masters of speech, which remove all kind of ignorant desires, bowing to which one drowned in worldliness, we lifted up to the great rank of success, like a sun smashing all the illusions of sins, and are like eagle birds in front of the serpents of threefold of miseries, and which are like the blazing fire of a forest that dries away the ocean of inertia or insentience, which endows one with all attributes, which can blaze with permanent devotion at the lotus feet of Krishna and Rama, and which is initiated with the vow of charity and self-settledness, which are like the Garudas or the eagles to all the snakes of desires, and which blaze the valuable treasure of discrimination, enlightening with preaching of Krishna consciousness or God consciousness or Ram consciousness, the true knowledge that awards instant liberation from the shackles of the world, of material world. So prayer is Ananta Sansar Samudra Tara Lokaitabhyam Guru Bhakti Dabhyam Vairagya Samraj The Pujanabhyam Namo Namo Shri Guru Padakabhyam. So most probably you may be knowing the words, and you can also, if you know, you can sing with me. Ananta Sansar Samudra Tara Nokaitabhyam Guru Bhakti Dabhyam वैराग्य साम्राज्य द पूजनाभ्यां नमो नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्यां कवित वाराशि निशाकराभ्यां दौर्भाग्य दावां भुजमालिकाभ्यां दूरीकृतानम्र विपत्तिदाभ्यां नमो नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्यां नताययो श्री पतितां समीयुं कदाचित् प्याशु दरिद्रवर्या मुखाश्च वाचा स्फटित भाभ्यां नमो नमो श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्यां नालीकनिकाश पदारुताभ्यां नानाविवाहादिनिवारिकाभ्यां नमज्जनाभिस्ततिप्रदाभ्यां नमो नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्यां नृपालिमौली व्रजरत्नकान्ति शरद्विराजं शककन्यकाभ्यां रूपत्तदाभ्यां नतलोकपङ्कज नमो नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्यां पापान्धकारार्क परम्पराभ्यां तापत्रयाइन्द्र खगेश्वराभ्यां जाढान्धि संशोषणवाङ्गवाभ्यां नमो नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्यां समाधिशर प्रदेवे भवाभ्यां समाधिदानवृत दीक्षिताभ्यां रमादवांग दृष्टिस्भक्ति नमो नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्यां स्वार्चापराणां खिलेष्टदाभ्यां स्वाहासयायाक्ष दूरंधराभ्यां स्वांछाच भावप्रद पूजनाभ्यां नमो नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्यां कामादि सर्प व्रज गारुडाभ्यां विवेक वैराग्य निधि प्रदाभ्यां कामादि सर्प व्रज गारुडाभ्यां विवेक वैराग्य निधि प्रदाभ्यां बोध प्रदाभ्यां द्रुत मोक्षदाभ्यां नमो नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्यां बोध प्रदाभ्यां द्रुत मोक्षदाभ्यां नमो नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्यां. So sometimes we want to collect some water and we go out with a bucket and the rain is pouring like cats and dogs and still we come out without even a drop of water in a bucket. Because the bucket we put is upside down. So no matter how much water is coming from the sky, the bucket cannot collect even a drop of water. Katha you hear from 1 day or 2 days, 3 or 4 days or 9 days, 10 days. It doesn't matter. If someone asks you to write 5 sentences about what you heard in last 3 days, I bet most people won't be able to do that. Forget about 5 sentences, even 5 words you won't be able to remember. But if you go through this proper process and have blessings of Sri Guru, then definitely you will absorb every word that's been saying from this particular place. So we take few minutes, but it helps. So now, one thing we would like to make clear by giving an example that I was invited at one time, it's a place like United Nations or something, and it's a round table, even the television up there, the videos, every speaker, you can see right there, and you can see every speaker. But it was a round table, so everybody, one person is sitting here and other person is sitting opposite to you, the third person at 45 degrees. And 365 degrees, everybody is there. And different religions and everyone have some provision of translation. If I don't want to hear in English, I can just switch it to Hindi and I can hear whatever is spoken in Hindi. If somebody is Spanish, no problem, you can speak Hindi, but translation will be there in Spanish. So any language of the world was available for any person who was attending that meeting. And then it was a crucial subject. And I knew that everyone has a cell phone in their pocket, naturally. Nowadays, everybody keeps a cell phone. In the center, just for decoration purpose, they have put a globe of the earth. And I didn't have any specific words, how to start, how to end, and what to speak. But I ask everybody that, I don't have much to say. But if you don't mind, pull out your cell phones. I'm not going to ask you to shut it off. But I'm going to ask you to take a close picture of that bulb of earth or a globe of earth which is exhibited right in center. Take a close-up. Someone will see Pakistan, someone will see Bharat, someone will see Ceylon only, someone will see only ocean or rivers, someone may see only China, or someone will see Soviet Union or Middle East and Africa, North Pole, South Pole, whatever. There are so many people, and every angle we have the cell phone taking picture. So everybody took the picture. And I said, now compare your picture with someone else. Your camera is not going to lie. If it doesn't see Africa, it's not going to show Africa in your picture. But somebody else will see Africa. And that's the beauty of this world religion that we are talking about. From my angle, I see Hinduism. And from his angle, he sees Islam. And from her point of view, there is a Buddhism, and there is a Sikhism, and there is a Taoism. Someone is Jewish, someone is Christian. But when you put all these pictures that we have taken today of that bulb or the globe of earth when you put it together, that's a real earth. The earth doesn't have only Pakistan or India or Russia or Africa. But from different point of view, when you see, it looks different. So we don't have to really fight that I am right or he is right or she is right. Every religion is right. Every dharma samsthapaka, like Srila Prabhupada, founder acharyas, they are all right. And they all have to say the same thing. And we study together, we know the absolute truth, what they call. The total picture I'm not going to see from here. You're not going to see from there. You are not going to see from there. But when we put it together, all the pictures from every angle, this is known as a Syadavad. In scripture, the word is Syadavad. That when you see from every angle, 365 degrees, from angle to angle to angle to angle, and put your knowledge together, then you see the absolute truth. My point is that all the 3 days we are trying to understand, we are not getting anywhere. But still, there is something. The reason why I'm doing that, I'm taking you from north to south, to east to west, or Ishan, Agni, Nairuttya, Vayavya, all the corners and different directions. I'm moving you around and showing Ramayan, because all these founders, acharyas, and those who were involved in creating Ramayan, they were sitting at a different angle and trying to visualize who Ram was, what was the Ramayan, what were his pastimes. Ultimately, it's the same. But what you may have heard is different than what he has to say or she has to say. So far as Ramayana or Ramkatha is concerned, I say that it came back to Brahma in form of Gayatri. So that is a exclusively different subject matter, language, and understanding about Lord Rama. That was Krishna and Brahma. And then second part is Lord Brahma and Narada. The third one is Lord Shiva and Parvati. The fourth one is sage Agastya and Shiva Parvati. Of course, we talk about Lord Shiva and Parvati, have a dialogue about it. But Agastya Muni says, I have a Ram Katha at my place, will you please come? Bring your wife also. And Lord Shiva says, of course. And they both went. Only thing, when Agastya Muni started serving Parvati, bowing down at the lotus feet of Parvati, offering like all kind of paraphernalias to Parvati, asking for her blessings, she had some doubt that this guy who is bowing down at my lotus feet like a beggar is asking for my blessings, what is going to talk about Katha? He puts me on higher level, that means he is already on the lower level, and what is going to preach me? So Parvati never ever put any kind of attention when Agastya Muni was narrating Ramayana. And it's a very important thing. Lord Shiva is Antaryami, is the super soul of all the living beings. So he knew that Mother Parvati, listen to me, Also, she is listening to Agastya Muni, but she has all kind of doubts because the way she's been treated by such humble sage. So, when they left, Lord Shiva took little rest under a tree. And Mother Parvati was looking around and she pointed out two people there. They were actually Ram and Lakshman. Shivaji is already in meditation, so Parvati just got up. She wore a costume or mask of Mother Sita. And she wanted to tease or fool Lord Ramchandra ji. So she played a joke. And behind the tree she came out in a form of Mother Sita, thinking that this particular person known as Lord Ram or Supreme Personality of Godhead, crying like a baby, when he finds what he wants, what he's looking for, Sita, let me see his reactions. But Lord Rama, as soon as he saw Mother Parvati, he says, Mataji, what are you doing here? This is a dense jungle. This is not a place for you. Where is my Prabhuji? And she said, oh my God, I could not fool him. I couldn't cheat him. I could not trace his reactions and what he's thinking and what he's doing, and he already recognized me, that I am testing him. He passed the test and I failed totally. And I don't know now what Lord Shiva is going to think about me. So she came, she just vanished from the sin, and she just came back quickly, and as if nothing has happened, she was sitting with Lord Shiva. After a while, dhyana avastita tadgatena manasa pashyantiyam yogino, the Yogeshwar Shiva came back to his exterior consciousness. And he asked Mother Parvati, what happened? You look pale. You look worried. Something happened? She says, no, nothing. Everything is okay. I was just waiting for you to, come back to the exterior consciousness. And Lord Shiva says, I'm sorry. But in my meditation I found out that you were trying to test Lord Rama. How can you do that? I narrated a whole Ramayan to you. Agastya Muni also narrated the whole Ramayan to you. And still you are doubting everything about Lord Rama. You can believe his pastimes. Instead of showing some sympathy or blessing him, or getting his blessing from him, you went to test him thinking he is an ordinary person. He didn't disclose, but that was the last talk that he had with his wife. In his mind he renounced. He says, this is it. She is not my wife anymore. They came back to Kailas and they saw hundreds of aeroplanes flying over Mount Kailas. And Parvati says, what is happening? All the demigods are flying and going someplace. All the Pushpak aeroplanes, different colors, different sizes. Such a beautiful scene. Where they are going? Lord Shiva says, they are going to visit your father. So, she says, my father? Everybody is going to visit my father and I am sitting here? Lord Shiva says, no. You are not invited, I am not invited. And then you know the result. Because she was offensive to Lord Rama and she didn't have belief in the words that is written by all these sages. She suffered and she had to jump into the fire sacrifice and give up her material body. So this is what it is. It's not really easy to understand Lord Rama. Even the self-realized people, souls, and founder acharyas, saintly people, devotees. God himself can go wrong when it comes to Lord Rama. So, that was Agastya and Shiv Parvati. Then also another angle I'm just seeing from Yagnavalkya and Bharadwaj. So Bharadwaj is asking to Yagnavalkya and he is explaining Ramayan to him. Now Narada Muni, whatever is collected from Brahma is coming to Valmiki ji. We were just looking into that yesterday. That's another angle. And Kak Bhushandi and Garud ji, when they are discussing this scenario, that's altogether a different story. But you should read it. And then there is a Ramacharita Manasa. Very interesting. It's a very systematic study of Ramayana. There are three words, Ramacharita Manas. First you have to accept Ram as a supreme personality of Godhead. No choice. Once you accept Ram, then you go to Charita. His character, Charitra, his pastimes will be relieved only when you accept him as a supreme personality of Godhead. So second step, you start understanding his pastimes. And Manas is your own mind. Just like anything you look around, your mind is capturing. A lady going through a mall, she's not even entering, she's on a sidewalk. Beautiful saris are hanging on the rope and she likes one of the sari. Even she's walking 5 miles away from that shop, that sari is still there in her mind. Even after finishing the homework or whatever she has to do in her bed, the sari is still there in her mind. The next morning or morning after that, when she's talking to the husband, all she has to talk about that particular sari, that she would like to have it. Mind is like that. Mind will not sit unless she gives the sari. So, Ram Charita Manas. That Manas is most important. And that is where the world is divided. And it is one on the top of the other. Starts with Ram, go up, accept his pastimes, and then Manas. Let it stick to your mind. Let's accept Ramakatha as our conviction. Then there is a Ramacharita Manas. And then finally, Shukadeva Goswami, because Rama Avatar was first, before Krishna Avatar. So, Rama was in Treta Yuga, and then there was a Dwapar Yuga. 432,000 years is the Kali Yuga. 864,000 years is Dwapar Yuga. 1296,000 years is the Treta Yuga. And 1728,000 years is the Satya Yuga. So, the fact is that Shukadeva Goswami, like we were reading yesterday, when Parikshit Raja wanted to know about Ramayan, Maharaj Shukadeva Goswami says that the transcendental activities of Lord Ramachandra have been described of great saintly persons who have seen the truth, because you have heard again and again about Lord Ramachandra, the husband of Mother Sita. I shall describe these activities only in brief. Only in brief. It doesn't matter, whether you know the details after details or you know a little bit of it. The essence is the same. It is like some kind of nectar or a poison. One drop of poison is also a poison, and the whole bottle of poison is also a poison. So Ram Katha is where you taste from. If there is a mango or a sugar cane, if you try to taste it, from this side it's going to be sweet. If you try to taste it from the other side, it's sweet. If you try to taste from top, it's sweet. Try to taste from bottom, it's sweet. So, it doesn't matter how much you hear about Ram, how much you digest, that is more important. So now, he starts Ramayan, and today we'll be looking how Shukadeva Goswami is presenting Ramayan. Khatavanga dirgabahuscha raghu tasmat pradhushava ajastato maharaj tasmam dasharato bhavat. Khatavanga dirgabahuscha raghu tasmat pradhushava ajastato maharaj statma dasharatho bhavat. Shukadeva Goswami said the son of Maharaj Khatavanga was Dirghabahu, and his son was the celebrated Maharaj Raghu. From Maharaj Raghu came Aja, and from Aja was born the great personality Maharaj Dasharath. Then he says, Tasyapi Bhagavanesha Sakshat Brahmamayo Harihi Amshashena Chato Dhagat Putratvam Parthita Suren Rama Lakshmana Bharat Shatrugna Iti Sangnaya Uchyate Anshanshane Chaturvida Putratvam Parthitasure. Being prayed for by demigods, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Absolute Truth Himself, directly appeared in His expansion and expansion of expansion. Their holy names were Rama, Lakshmana, Bharat, and Shatrugna. These celebrated incarnations thus appeared in the four forms as the sons of Maharaj Dasharath. So, he then narrates one verse in which the whole Ramayan was actually narrated. And everybody should know this particular verse and learn by heart. Because by listening to this particular verse, you get the benefit of listening to the whole Ramayan. And also, tomorrow if someone asks you about Ramayan, if you don't know those 24,000 verses that we are right now studying, the single verse will tell and talk about the whole Ramayan. So when somebody is asking, you are not embarrassed. You can say, oh, I don't know much about, I don't know very little, you this, that. No, you know the whole thing. And it doesn't take time to remember or memorize this particular verse. Most probably you know that, but it goes like this. Ado Rama Tapovanaadigamanam Hatva Mruga Kanchanam Vadehi Haranam Jatayu Maranam Sugriva Sambhashanam Vali Nigranam Samudra Taranam Lankapuri Danam Paschad Ravana Kumbhakarna Hananam Etadhi Ramayanam Etadhi Ramayanam. That's Ramayana. So, to keep the promise to his father Dashrath, how he left his position, king of Ayodhya, and went to the forest with Lakshman and Sita, where he saw a golden deer. Asambhavam hai mrugasya janma, tathapi ramo mrugave rubhaya. It's not possible that something made out of metal like gold can move around like a living entity. Being even Supreme Personality of Godhead, he got in illusion and agreed to get the deer for his beloved consort, Mother Sita. And Sitaji gets kidnapped by Ravana in absence of Rama. And while the demon, while dying, is screaming, Lakshmana, Lakshmana, Sitaji wants Lakshmana to go and help Rama. And Lakshmana explains that no, it cannot be Ram. This is all booby trap. We are looking for trouble. But she doesn't believe. And then Ravana comes and kidnaps her. Jatayu is trying to stop the incident. And then after giving message to Lord Rama and Lakshmana only, Jatayu to leave his material body, and then Rama is performing a funeral service as if he is doing for his own son. And then, with the help of the monkeys, and especially with the help of Hanuman, how he is crossing the ocean. Fire is set up by Hanuman, killing of Ravana and Kumbhakarna, and all these things that we are going to look into is condensed in one verse, and that is why it is known as a Ekashloki Ramayana. Now we see from same thing in details by Valmiki Rishi. So when asked by sage Valmiki, the great sage Narada, who is able to know everything that happens within the three worlds, replied, O Rishi, there is an illustrious king by the name of Rama who has appeared in the royal dynasty of Ikshvaku as the son of Maharaj Dasharath. He is the embodiment of all transcendental qualities and the possessor of the opulences. Ram perfectly controls his senses and is a master of unlimited potencies. Rama has mighty arms that extends down to his knees, and his throat is marked with three auspicious lines like those on a canticle. He has high and broad shoulders, a wide chest, a beautifully formed head, a graceful forehead, powerful jaws, and deeply embedded collarbones. His eyes are large. He is majestically medium tall in stature, and all his limbs are well formed and symmetrical. His bodily complexion is dark greenish blue and has a great luster. His intelligence is unfathomable. His manner is grave, and his speech is superb in tone and eloquence. Lord Rama has a supremely pure character and is a follower of true religion principles. He is full in self-realization and is upholder of Varnashram Dharma. Truly, he is the support of the entire universe. He is simultaneously destroyer of all foes and the only shelter for those who are fully surrendered. Lord Rama is absolute knower of all the Vedas, Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samveda, Atharvaveda. Furthermore, he is fully conversant with the use of all weapons. He possesses unflinching determination and is a genius with unfailing memory. Indeed, his learning is without doubts. He is wise, compassionate, and heroic in battle. He is loved by all creatures and is impartial towards friends and foes alike. He is grave like an ocean. In fortitude, he is like a Himalayan mountains. In strength, he is like Lord Vishnu. In beauty, he is like the moon. In forbearance, he is like the earth. And in anger, he is like the fire that blazes forth at the time of universe destruction. In wealth, he is like Kubera. And in devotion, he is like Dharma, the Lord of righteousness. Narada then briefly described to Valmiki ji the pastimes of Lord Ramachandra. He concluded by telling him that this Supreme Lord Rama, how rules over his subjects in a most righteous and exemplary manner. So again, we have to refer to some of these verses in which it says, Tretayam Vartamanayam Kalakruta Samo Bhavat Rame Rajani Dharmagne Sarvabhuta Sukha Tretayam Vartamanayam Kalakruta Samo Bhavat Rame Rajani Dharmagne Sarvabhuta Sukha. Lord Ramachandra became king during Treta Yuga. But because of his good governance, the age was like Satyuga everyone was religious and completely happy. Like I mentioned before, there are 4 millenniums, Satyuga, Treta, Dwapar, Kali Yuga. And they all have different qualities because there is always a decline of religion gradually from Satyuga to Kali Yuga. So in Treta Yuga also, it was a similar condition. But because just was the presence of Lord Sri Rama, Sita and Lakshman, everything just felt like everyone felt that they are in Satyuga and not in Treta Yuga. Then he says, Vanani nadyogiya varshani dvipasindava sarve kamadudasan prajanam bharatarshava vanani nadyogiraya varshani dvipasindava sarve kamadudasan prajanam bharatarshava. O Maharaj Parikshit, best of all the Bharat dynasty, during the reign of Lord Ramachandra, the forests, the rivers, the hills and the mountains, the states and the 7 islands and the 7 seas were all favorable in supplying the necessities of life for all living beings. Nadi vyadi jaragnani dukha shoka bhayakrama mrityu chanichadamnasid Rame rajyana dokshaje Nadi vyadi jaraglani Dukha shoka bhayakrama mrityuchanichadam nasid Rame rajanya dokshaje. When Lord Ramachandra, Supreme Personality of Godhead, was king of this world, all bodily and mental sufferings, disease, old age, bereavement, lamentation, distress, fear and fatigue were completely absent. There was even no death for those who did not want it. Who wants to die? Nobody wants to die, right? So no one died anyway when Lord Ramachandra was there. Now the same translation is confirmed or verified by different writers of Ramayan. If there is a conflict, it could be a conflict of the words only, but the concept remains the same. It describes Ramaraj. Right now, even if you go to India or study any history of different countries, they all talk about Ramaraj because there was no any even concept like that anywhere. The most successful period in history of mankind. So, Narada is briefly describing Valmiki, the pastimes of Lord Ramachandra. He concluded by telling him that this same Lord Rama now rules over his subjects in the most righteous and exemplary manner. He explained that during the reign of Lord Rama, no one would suffer from any disease or mental disturbances. Everyone within Lord Rama's kingdom would be happy and prosperous, never fearing tears, scarcity or hunger. All the cities and villages would be filled with abundant grains, fruits, vegetables and milk products. Indeed, the people would experience the same degree of piety and happiness that were exhibited during the Satyuga. There will be no natural disturbances like floods, earthquakes, and famine. And all the women will be chaste and never suffer widowhood. Lord Ramchandra will rule over the earth in this way for 11,000 years before returning to his supreme abode in the spiritual sky, Vaikuntha. So here there is some prediction because he's talking to Valmiki ji, and that time Valmiki's question was, is there any human being like that who has the godly qualities? And Narad Muni says, yes, there is one. And at the same time, after describing his kingdom and of all his qualities, he's predicting that he's not going to be there for 100 or 200 years. He's going to be there for 11,000 years. And in Treta Yuga, out of those 12,000, 96,000 years, this 11,000 years were almost like Satyuga. So after satisfying the inquiry made by Valmiki Muni, which was for the benefit of the three worlds, Sri Narada again took up his travels, spreading the glories of Supreme Lord. The sage Valmiki then journeyed to the bank of river Tamas and is taking a bath there. After his visit, he had some resolution in his heart and he was in prayerful mood, and that's why he wanted to sanctify himself, purify himself, and just took a deep in Tamas river and bathed himself. So, after taking a bath, while continuing to meditate upon his prayers towards Lord Rama, he suddenly saw Lord Brahma descending from his abode. So now he is pure like a gold. When you put the gold in the fire, what happens? Similarly, a single thought of Lord Rama and taking a bath in a holy river, the determination or resolution that he had of learning about Ram, talking about Ram, writing about Ram, remembering Ram and never forget Ram. He was so much purified that he was able to see Brahma coming down on the earth. He suddenly saw Lord Brahma descending from his abode, the topmost planet within the universe, overwhelmed with wonder and jubilation. The speechless Valmiki stood up to receive the firstborn being of the universe. When Lord Brahma appeared before him, Valmiki offered his respectful obeisances and worshipped Lord Brahma with great awe and reverence. Then Lord Brahma, the universal grandsire, who can understand the hearts of everyone, said, "The time has come for you to compose a history of Lord Ramchandra's life." He's giving him the idea. The time has come. Don't waste your time. Take a pen and paper and start writing. Of course, in those days, they were using the skin of the trees and, that was not actually fountain pen. But little straw and with tree pulp, they used to write. And it's important what they are writing than how they are writing. So sometimes how they are writing becomes very important. Srila Prabhupada started translating Srimad Bhagavatam. He was in a Radha Damodar temple. He didn't have any relatives, no wife, no children. Everybody left. He was all by himself, like a mendicant, sannyasi. He used to beg. And he had a determination that I will go to some house. I will stand outside. And if the person gives me a piece of bread, I will eat. If he doesn't give me, I will fast. He passed his days this way, by begging. And when he used to come back, he will start translating Srimad Bhagavatam. So very close friend of him, friends and friends, they are like so bosom, so close. So they kick around, they joke around, they make fun of him. So he asked Prabhupada, and he said, wow, you are writing with Parker pen. Somebody had donated him Parker pen. Now this is a foreign pen, and in those days, I'm talking about like 100 years before, that pen used to cost a lot of money. So when the friend saw Prabhupada writing with a Parker pen, he started laughing. That look at this. You don't have dhoti to wear, you don't have bread, piece of bread to eat, and you are writing with a Parker pen. Now the Parker is actually English word. But in Sanskrit, Parker means a boat will take you from one shore to other shore. That is called Parker. A boat can take you from one place to other place. You won't drown in the water. You are safely crossing even ocean sometimes in a boat. So he takes the meaning of Parker, whatever the joke was cut, that, oh, you are riding with Parker pen, and Prabhupada says, yes, my pen is Parker. My pen is taking one from ocean of nations and getting him enlightened in Krishna consciousness. Yes, whatever I am writing is also Parker. If someone reads what I am writing, will take him from ocean of nations, crossing over and bring him back to Godhead. He said and used the word Parker in a right way in Sanskrit. And the friend was not expecting. For him it was important how you are writing. He was not concerned of what you are writing. And today, millions and millions of people, they read what he wrote. Whatever he wrote, everybody is reading those books and trying to cross over the ocean of nations. And that is why I say that when Brahma assigned him to write something, somehow Valmiki ji started writing, and he wrote Ramayan. The time has come for you to compose the history of Lord Ramchandra's life. Great transcendental pastimes meant for ultimate welfare of the world. So encouraging words Lord Brahma is speaking, that you are not going to write something ordinary. This is going to save the world. My dear Valmiki, there is no cause for you to be anxious, for by strength of my benediction, everything that is unknown to you will become clearly revealed within your heart. Thus, by my grace, your narration of Ramayan will be faultless. After bestowing this benediction upon Valmiki, Lord Brahma departed for his abode upon his celestial swan carrier, filling all who beheld him with wonder. Valmiki then sat down in meditation to discover all the pastimes of Lord Ramachandra as indicated by Lord Brahma. Absorbed in deep trance, Valmiki clearly envisioned within his heart all the events of Lord Rama's appearance. Valmiki then composed the Ramayana in 24,000 verses. So, this was amazing. Now, we continue what he wrote. So here he says that it was a time, we already mentioned the first day only, yada vai dharmasya glanir bhavati bharato abhyuthanam dharmasya tadatmyanam sujamyaham paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religion practices and the predominant rise of religion, at that time I descend myself to deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to reestablish the principles of religion. I myself appear millennium after millennium. So, dushkritam is a word. Vinashaya cha dushkritam. God wants to get rid of those who are not behaving well. And one of the person was Ravana. So, Maharaja Dashrath readily assented, and soon the sacrifice was began. Meanwhile, in the higher planets, the chief demigods approached Lord Brahma and explained, O grandsire, because of your benedictions, Ravana has become so powerful that he is harassing everyone at will. Now, you have to excuse my pronunciation because in this temple and especially in this particular movement, it could be said Rama, but they call it Rama. It could be said Krishna, but they call Krishna. It could be said Ganesha, we call Ganesha. And it could be said Ravana, but we call it Ravana. So, you know that it's going to be extended pronunciation, and you have to accept my forgiveness. And I apologize for making wrong pronunciation, but that's how they speak, and we have to follow. It says, wherever you are and whatever they speak, speak the same language. So, beside you and me and our family, there are people who belong to ISKCON, and they are our congregation members. And so far, last more than 50 years, the way we speak is a little bit difficult to change. So you have to just excuse me. So meanwhile, the higher planets, the chief demigods, approached Lord Brahma and explained, O grandsire, because of your benediction, Ravana has become so powerful that he is harassing everyone at will. Even we cannot subdue the wicked Rakshasa. Therefore, we request you to personally devise the means for his destruction. Lord Brahma considered the situation and then replied, at the time of asking for benedictions, Ravana did not bother to ask for immunity from death at the hands of human beings, for he considered them to be too significant. While Brahma was thinking how Ramana could be killed, Lord Vishnu suddenly appeared riding on his career Garuda. As effulgent sees as many suns, Lord Vishnu appeared in his four-armed form, dressed in bright saffron garments, carrying his disc, corn, club, and lotus flower. The demigod worshipped the Supreme Lord with great reverence and then requested, O Master of Universe, please come to our rescue by dividing yourself into four, becoming the sons of Maharaj Dashrath for the purpose of killing Ravana. Now again, you have to be very much familiar with this philosophy because although Lord Vishnu is one, when he has to expand, then there are four kinds of expansions. There is a Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, Vasudeva. And there are certain degrees, increasing or decreasing proportions. But there are different expansions. And that is why they said, you will have to expand yourself. You cannot remain 100% Vishnu. And that's why when you expand, you have to expand into four sons of Lord Dashrath, becoming Rama, Lakshmana, Bharata, and Shatrughna. So these are the four expansion. And the Gayatri mantra that we chant, we include this. Sankarshanaya Namah, Aniruddhaya Namah, Pradyumnaya Namah, Vasudevaya Namah. But these are internal details the Guru can, when you initiate, he can explain you all that and you can understand that. We don't have to go into that right now, but that's what the request was by the demigods, and Vishnu accepted that. Lord Vishnu replied, rest assured, there is no longer any need to be afraid. I will soon incarnate to rule over the earth. For 11,000 years after vanquishing your enemy, the king of Rakshasas. After saying this, Lord Vishnu disappeared as a demigod looked on with wonder. So, we keep reading. Meanwhile, from sacrificial fire of Maharaj Dashrath, there appeared an exceptional being of dark complexion with all auspicious bodily features. This personality appeared to be unlimitedly powerful. He was decorated with transcendental ornaments, and in his hands he carried a large golden pot of sweet rice. That divine person then told Maharaj Dashrath, I am a messenger of the Lord Vishnu. So here, fire sacrifice is mentioned. And in Bhagavad Gita, if you have to read and understand the purpose of fire sacrifice or the importance of fire sacrifice is very, very important. Because the rain comes because of fire sacrifice. Right? And that is why it was the only means in those days, if you want to fulfill any kind of desires, or if you want to achieve something, you have to perform a fire sacrifice. So this is how it comes in the picture. With folded hands the king replied, O Vishnu Duta, please order me to perform whatever service I can render. The servant of Lord Vishnu said, this pot of sweet rice is reward from your 2 sacrificial performances. Give portions to your 3 wives to eat. Through them you shall beget 4 sons who will forever perpetuate your fame. Maharaja Dashrath happily accepted the sweet rice and circumambulated the Vishnu Dutas. After Lord Vishnu's messengers disappeared from view, Maharaja Dashrath quickly gave portions of the sweet rice to his wives, for he was eager to have sons. Maharaj Dashrath gave Kaushalya 1/2 of the sweet rice, Sumitra 1/4, and Kaikai 1/8. Then after some deliberation, he gave the remaining 8 to Sumitra. All 3 wives were overjoyed, for they were confident that they would soon become mother. Now again, if you know the philosophy of Sankarshan, Anudan, Pradyuman, and Vasudeva, then you understand why the sweet rice was divided in this weird kind of proportions. Because like I say, from 100%, someone will have 75%, someone may have 50%, someone may have 25%, twice. So this again it applies that Chaturvyuha, it is known as a Chaturvyuha. And these 4 personalities are also called or known as Chaturvyuha. So probably we already read it and understood it. And he says, being prayed for by demigod, a supreme person of Godhead, the absolute truth himself directly appeared. In his expansion and expansions of expansion. So because of this expansions process, their holy names were Ram, Lakshman, Bharat and Shatrugna. This celebrated incarnation, this appeared in 4 forms as the son of Maharaj Dashrath. So that is why it says that Anshe Chaturdag Putratvam Prarthitam Surehi. Anshena means certain portion of the portion, and again portion of the portion was divided, and in order to beget 4 sons which won't be alike. They were all Vishnu Tattva, of course, but one had 100% potency, the second had 75% of potency, the third had 50% potency, and the fourth had 25% potency. This is how the 4 deserved or derived 4 qualities, different qualities. So now, the 3 queens eagerly ate their shares, and soon thereafter each felt the presence of divine offspring within their wombs. Then Maharaj Dashrath understood that his wives were pregnant. He too became very satisfied. Meanwhile, Lord Brahma ordered the demigods as follow: beget partial manifestations of yourself to assist Lord Vishnu in his forthcoming incarnations. The children which you produce in the form of monkeys by uniting with apsaras, she-monkeys and the female yakshas, nagas, vidyadharas and other celestial beings must be capable of assuming any form at will and must possess all other mystic powers. In addition, they must be very intelligent, highly skilled in the use of weapons, having prowess almost equal to Lord Vishnu and possess ethereal bodies. After receiving the order of Lord Brahma, Indra begot Vali, Surya begot Sugriva, Brihaspati begot Tara, Kuvera begot Gandhamada, and Vishwakarma begot Nala, Varuna begot Sushena, and the Vayu begot Hanuman. Besides these principal monkeys, many thousands of others took birth to assist Lord Vishnu in his mission. All of them were gigantic like mountains and were very eager to fight with Ravana. Like the demigods who begat them, these monkeys were born just after conception. They were so powerful that they could agitate the ocean with their impetuous energy. There were three classes of these created beings: bears, monkeys, and monkeys that had long tails like cows. Because there were more than 10 millions of these monkeys and bears, and the earth soon became overturned with them as they wandered throughout the forest, eating wild fruits and various roots. After the completion of the Putresti sacrifice, the demigods who personally came to accept their offerings, and the priest Rishishugna and Shanta departed for their respective residence. Now Shanta is a daughter and Rishishugna was the son-in-law. Then after pregnancy of the 12 months, on 9th day of waxing bright, fortnight in the month of Chaitra, Kaushalya gave birth to a son named Rama. So, if you come this particular Sunday, we are going to celebrate this Ram Navami. We just read here that after pregnancy of 12 months, on the 9th day of waxing bright fortnight, in the month of Chaitra, Kaushalya gave birth to a son named Rama. This divine child had reddish eyes and the lips, long arms, and was decorated with all auspicious markings. The son of Kaushalya represented one half of the potency of Lord Sri Vishnu. So, naturally, on this particular occasion, if you go to Ayodhya, or if you happen to go to places like Mathura or Vrindavan, then they celebrate this Ram Janma. If you come here also, we are going to celebrate wholeheartedly this Ram Navami at the end of the Katha. Every year we do the Katha before Ram Navami, and then on Ram Navami, the 9th day of Chaitra, we celebrate this particular festival. So please come without fail. Temple is going to open whole day from 4:30 in the morning all the way up to 9:30. So, and then there will be big feast. You will witness wonderful Abhishek. the Aarti offering, and a lot of entertainment also at the same time. So on that particular occasion when Rama was born, in the different cities like Madura and Mathura, Vrindavan, etc., people sing this particular Ram Janma song. And it says, Bhai Prakat Krupala Deen Dayala Kausalya Hitkari Harshit Mahatari Muni Manhari Adbhut Roop Vichari Lochan Abhirama Tan Ghanshyama Nij Ayudh Bhuj Chari Bhushan Vanmala Nayan Visala Shobha Sindhu Kharari Mata Puni Boli Somati Doli Tajhu Tatya Rupa Ki Jai Sisuleela Ati Prisila Yah Sukh Param Anupa Bhai Prakat Krupala Deen Dayala Kausalya Hitkari Harshit Matari Muni Manhari Adbhut Roop Vichari Suni Bachan Sujana Rodan Chana Hoi Balak Surbhupa Ya Charit Jo Gavahi Haripad Pavahi Ten Paribhav Kupam Bhai Prakat Krupala Deen Dayala Kausalya Hitkari Ya Charit Je Gavai Haripad Pavai Ten Paribhav Kupam. This is so beautiful here, although it's written in our language. The meaning is that anyone who sings this particular verses, anyone who hears this particular verses, Hari Pad Pavahi, they will go back to Godhead. Tena Parhi Bhavakupa, and they will not have to go through the cycle of birth and death. So today, humbly I have tried to sing that, and humbly you have also tried to listen to this. So at least, I don't know what is going to happen or no, but according to the scriptures, that's what we are promised, that we will go back to Godhead, and never ever come back in this cycle of birth and death again. So now, keep your eyes on the Pujari. He is going to offer Aarti, the incense, the ghee lamp, water, handkerchief, flowers or flower petals, charmer or fan peacock fan, all those things one by one. And those who are home, if you have provision of all this paraphernalia with you, you may offer it to the Lord. The Lord is with you right now. If you look at your cell phone, you can see this is a live stream. So you can find Radha Govinda right there in your screen, maybe on your computer or laptop, wherever you see this. Then he's your guest, and you are as a host, you try to please him by offering the Aarti, just like a Pujari is offering. We will be singing Gaura Aarti now, and if you have harmonium, mridanga, kartal or any instrument you play or nothing, you can clap your hands and sing this beautiful prayer that we are singing, which is known as Gaur Arati. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutade Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namina. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Prachari Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakturinda. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakturinda. Ki bajayo jai Gaurachanda Aruti ko shobhan. Ki bajayo jai Gaurachanda Aruti ko shobhan. Jhanvi Tatvan Jaguman Loba Jhanvi Tatvan Jaguman Loba. गौरांगे आरती शोभा जग जन मन लोभा गौरांगे आरती शोभा जग जन मन लोभा गौरांगे आरती शोभा जग जन मन लोभा जग जन मन लोभा जग जन मन लोभा हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल दक्षिण निताय चाँद वाम गदाधर दक्षिण निकाय चाँद वाम गदाधर निकटे अद्वैत श्रेणी वास छत्र दारा निकटे अद्वैत श्रेणी वास छत्र दारा बसी আছে গড়াচন রত্ন সিংহাসন बसी আছে গড়াচন रत्न सिंहासन आरती करेन ब्रह्मा आदिदेव गाणे आरती करेन ब्रह्मा आदिदेव गाणे नरहरि आदि कोरी चामर दुलाय नरहरि आदि कोरी चामर दुलाय संजय मुकुंद बासु घोष आदि गाय संजय मुकुंद बासु घोष आदि गाय शंखा बाजे घंटा बाजे बाजे करताल शंखा बाजे घंटा बाजे बाजे करताल मधुर मृदंगा बाजे परम रसाला मधुर मृदंगा बाजे परम रसाला शंखा बाजे घंटा बाजे मधुर 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 बाजे शंखा बाजे घंटा बाजे मधुर 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 बाजे मधुर 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 बाजे मधुर 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 बाजे शंखा बाजे घंटा बाजे मधुर 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 बाजे शंखा बाजे घंटा बाजे मधुर 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 बाजे मधुर 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 बाजे मधुर 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 बाजे हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. बहु कोटि चंद्र जीनी वदन उज्ज्वलं बहु कोटि चंद्र जीनी वदन उज्ज्वलं गल देशे वनमाला पूरे जलमाला गल देशे वनमाला पूरे जलमाला शिव शुक नारदा प्रेम गदागदं शिव शुक नारदा प्रेम गदागदं भक्ति विनोद देखें गोरार संपादा भक्ति विनोद देखें गोरार संपादा Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram Rama Rama Hare Hare Jai Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Radha Jai Gauranita 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 Jai Gauranita Jai Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Jai Giri Govardhan. Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Namo Vishnupada Paramahansa Parivragacarya Stota Sada Bhakti Vedanta Swami Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj ki jai. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय. नामाचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर की जय. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार शिवसिद्धि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय. अंतर्विपायपुर धाम की जय. वृंदावन धाम की जय. तुलसी देवी की जय. भक्ति देवी की जय. समावेद भक्त वृंद की जय. गौ प्रेमानंदी. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to Guru and Gauranga. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Prahlad Lad Dina Hiranyakashi Purvaksha Shilatankan Khalayam Ito Nasiham Parito Nasiham Yato Yato Mitato Nasiham Bahir Nasiham Hriday Nasiham Narasiham Gadim Sharanam Prapadyam Tavakar Kamal Vare Nakham Adbhuta Shringham Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanu Bringa Keshavadruta Narhari Rupa Jai Jagadish Hare Jai Jagadish Hare, Jaya Jagdish Hare. Jai Nrsingadev, 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 Jai Nrsingadev. Jai Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Jai Prahlad Maharaj. Nrsimhadev Bhagwan ki, Bhakt Prahlad Maharaj ki, Shri Radha Govinda Dev ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. So thanks for attending. Today was the 4th day, and up to Ram Navami we have to keep going and study Ramayan. So please be part of it. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for joining. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.